start. Ooh, fix who I am. All right. So today, here we go. Awesome. All right, everybody. Let me change some audio real quick. So today I'm going to be going on Khan Academy to check how literate I am. I want to actually do this for a few reasons. One is there's maybe one or two people in my life that I want to help out with their education. One is dyslexic, and another, I want them to get their GED. And then there's a third person who's an acquaintance who also wants to get their GED. So I figured, you know what, might as well brush up on some vocabulary. Can never hurt to review. Turn this up just a little bit more. Okay. Let's see. Test. It's not that bad. Okay. I just have to check the audio once more. Today I'm using a shotgun mic. It's the same mic that I use when I shoot some short films. I had some issues with my condenser mic, so that's why I may sound different. If you guys like how I sound, let me know. And so yeah, I'm going to be going through this list of units on Khan Academy. Shout out to Liz. She sent me something not too long ago. And yeah, I'm going to see if I can even do this. I'm pretty sure I can, but I just want to see what these guys may have to study if I were to encourage them to further their education at any point. So here we go. Let me get chat right there. Let's cut off. There you go. Cool. Awesome. I can see chat. All right. So we're going to start off with second grade reading and vocabulary. I don't know how many parts this is going to be. This goes all the way up to 10th grade. So yeah, let's see what it's about. I have used Khan Academy before, but for other units. But I have not done any of the units for this at all. I did some math courses. I think I did calculus and I did trigonometry, but I haven't done any reading courses. So this should be interesting. All right, here we go. About this unit, how would you tell your own version of your favorite fairy tale? There's a lot we can learn about classic stories by reading different versions of them. What did the other characters think, and why was the villain bad? What if the story took place in a big city or in outer space? What happens after the characters live happily ever after? So building knowledge. Welcome to the fairy tale. Fairy tales retold unit. Fairy tales retold unit vocabulary. Okay, so you go in here. Okay. How would you tell your own version of your favorite fairy tale? There's a lot we can learn about classic stories by writing different versions of them. What did the other characters think? Why was the villain bad? What if the story took place in a big city or in outer space? What happens if the characters... Okay, that's the same as before. Stop and think. Have you ever heard two people tell the same story? How is it similar? How is it different? In this unit, you will see how we can make our own versions of classic stories, read new versions of fairy tales by watching videos to help you understand what good readers and writers do, reading and answering questions about literary and informational text, learning new academic words. How can we learn from a new point of view? Okay. Article. This is a list of a few useful and interesting words you'll find in this unit. You probably know some of them already, while others may be new to you. Take some time to get to know them all before you get started. Word adventure. Definition, an exciting experience. Sample sentence. The magic carpet took Jamal on an adventure to faraway lands. Word, certainly. Adverb, for sure, without a doubt. The giant certainly did not want Jack to take the magic goose. Curious. Odd. Strange. What a curious thing, Jack said when the vine grew all the way to the clouds. Disguise. Clothes or other things that you wear so that people will not know who you really are. The prince put on a gesture disguise so he could leave the castle without anyone knowing who he was. Distance, the space between the two places. The dwarf had to travel a long distance to get to the mine. Escape, to get away from a bad place. Rapunzel was able to escape from the tower by lowering her long hair out the window. Expect, to think that something will happen. Do you expect the wolf to return before dark? Faithful. Loyal, being true. The faithful elf returned to his home village every year to check on his grandmother. Gentle. Kind, tender, soft. The gentle breeze softly dried Snow White's tears. Grateful. Thankful. The fox was grateful to find the magic door so that he could get out of the storm. Word, neither. Often used with the word nor, neither shows that two things are both impossible. Neither the queen nor the king could attend the royal ball because they both had the flu. Polite. Good manners. The polite dwarf covered his nose when he sneezed. Recognize. To know and remember something or someone. I could recognize a wolf even when he was wearing Granny's clothes. Several. More than once, but not very many. The giant tried on several shoes before he found some that fit his big feet. Sly. Smart, but in a dishonest way. The sly alligator ate the gingerbread man after he tricked him into riding on her back. Wicked. Mean. Evil. The wicked stepmother turned her stepson into a snake. Listen to. Ooh, I guess let me make sure we got some audio. Hold on, let's see. I want to see if the audio is going to go through. Alright, hold on. It's not going through audio caption. There we go. Where is that? Okay, it's not capturing it. Oh, oops. What is this? Oh, okay. Okay, I can get rid of this. Hold on, guys. I'm just adding a new audio input. Let's see. Ooh, okay. Let me see. Wait, I'm gonna see if I can hear this. can't. Okay, hold on. Oh shoot, I can't. I don't know how. Damn, I feel like such a freaking noob right now. Dang, I really can't capture my own. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'll just turn on captions. That's boring. Okay, another video. Okay. Okay, I think I know how to add device default. Default, there we go. What is this? Ooh. Let me play this real quick. Yeah. While I was playing the video, I was looking up how to add desktop audio. Let's see. All right, 1 second, guys. Alright, back everybody. I think I know how to do this now.
Device. External.
There we go. Test. What the hell is this popping? Okay, dang. Alright, I'm just gonna skip it. Yeah, I don't want to get copyright strike either, so sorry. I'll try to figure it out for the next stream. Dang, it's a boring kingdom. Yeah, they said it was boring too. All right, Bell Chantry. That sounds cool. I like darkness. Okay. Hmm. I see. Hmm. Yeah, and struggle. Yeah. True. Small, nice wolf. I love these illustrations. I think it's a nice drawing of Maui. Alright, David out. Thanks for the video. Damn, another video? Exercise, here you go. Ready to practice? Yes, I am. Let's go. Okay, once there was a little girl with a cloak that had a red velvet hood. She was known as Little Red Riding Hood. One day her mother said, "Your granny is sick. Please take her some cakes. They will do her good. Remember, stay on the path. Do not stop along the way." Let me talk a little bit closer to the mic. Yes, mother. Turn it up just a little bit. There we go. Turn monitor off real quick. There we go. Yes, mother, said Little Red Riding Hood. Her granny lived in a house in the woods. When she entered the woods, she saw a wolf. The wolf wished to eat Little Red Riding Hood for lunch, but she did not know that, so she was not afraid of him. Picture 1. Look at that. 7A-2. He looks kind of nice. Yeah. Yeah. Is this AI generated? Hope it's not. What's weird about this picture is that you can't see. You can't see the actual hood. That's why I asked if it was AI generated. Nah, it can't be. This course has been around for a while. Anyways, the big bad wolf said, "And where are you going?" he asked. "To my granny's house," said Little Red Riding Hood. And where does your granny live? Asked the wolf. In the woods, a short distance from here, in a cottage under 3 big oak trees, said Little Red Riding Hood. What a tasty snack this girl would be, the wolf thought, but she's not big enough for a meal. I must find a way to eat her and her granny, too. The wolf said, Why, look at all the pretty flowers. Why don't you stop and rest to pick some of them? Little Red Riding Hood saw the lovely flowers and said, Granny would love some fresh flowers. Forgetting what she promised her mother, she left the path and went into the woods to pick flowers. Each time she picked one, she saw others even prettier, and so she stayed deeper. She strayed deeper and deeper into the woods. The wolf hurried to Granny's cottage and knocked on the door. Who's there? Said a little voice. It is I, Little Red Riding Hood, said the wolf. Oh, let yourself in, dear, said Granny. The wolf opened up the door. Before Granny could realize what was happening, the wolf gobbled her up. The sly wolf, dressed in her nightgown, with a wicked grin, she got into the bed, and pulled up the covers. It was quite the disguise. Dang! Look at that belly. The bonnet, the glasses, knocked over the lamp. 7A-4. Meanwhile, Little Red Riding Hood entered Granny's house, but she took a deep breath and called out, Good morning, Granny, but there was no answer. She went up to the bed. There she saw her granny, or so she thought. Little Red Riding Hood thought her granny looked very strange indeed. Oh, Granny, she said, what big ears you have. The better to hear you with, said the wolf. Said Little Red Riding Hood. Granny must be very sick, for her voice is much deeper than it used to be. And Granny, what big eyes you have, said Little Red Riding Hood. The better to see you with, my dear, answered the wolf. And Granny, what big teeth you have, said Little Red Riding Hood. The better to eat you with, cried the wolf as he sprang up and swallowed Little Red Riding Hood with one gulp. After his meal, the wolf went to sleep and began to snore. A hunter who was passing by the cottage heard the snoring. My, he said, the old woman sounds terrible. I'd better check on her. The hunter saw the wolf. He realized that the wolf had eaten the old woman. He knew he had to set her free. The hunter set them free, and out jumped Little Red Riding Hood and Granny. What happened to the wolf, though? He straight up murdered that wolf. 76-A. 7A-6. Oh, I'm so grateful. You saved us, said Little Red Riding Hood. When the wolf woke up, he ran away, never to be seen again. And Little Red Riding Hood said to herself, After this, I shall always do as my mother tells me. How did he free them? That's such a weird story. Like, I knew this story as a kid, and I always thought he cut open the wolf for some reason. I didn't know he actually just, like, he took them out. Like, he just grabbed them inside the wolf's mouth and grabbed them out. So, interesting. Okay, practice question. Drag and drop each description so it matches the correct character from the story. The wolf. He's hungry and sneaky. Oh. He's hungry and sneaky. Little right here, biggest for your grandma. Granny is sick in bed. Well, Granny's... Is she sick in bed? I didn't know that Granny was sick. That's just what they thought. Never said that the granny was sick, so that's weird. What is the central message of the story? What was it? Some be careful who you trust. Be careful who you trust. Yeah. Next question. How does picture 3 help you understand the middle of the story? 7A-5. Shows a wolf tricking the right hand with your granny. Pretty sure this is it. Yep. How does a hunter react when he hears a loud snoring? Yeah. Easy. Woohoo! All right, cool. 30 minutes in. Let's see. I keep slouching and like moving forward. Maybe I can move the camera down just a little bit. Oh shit, too far. Yeah, because I'm like here. Okay, summarizing stories. David explains that summarizing as retelling main ideas in a shorter way. He uses Three Little Pigs as an example, highlighting the important characters, the decisions, and story's outcome. He warns against including too little or too much information. Summaries need the story's events, characters, and problems. I understand the thoughts and emotions of characters in story. It's essentially mind reading. It's just it's it's essentially mind reading, and it's just as magical. Stories have points of view. Let's talk about the three flavors they can come in: first person, second person, and third person. You know what's better than reading a book? Reading two books. Let's talk about how books and stories relate to one another, how book series work, and how you can learn from comparing stories from around the world. Writing style is how an author uses words to tell a story. It includes the words they choose, how they put sentences together, the feelings they create to identify, look for patterns, how the author writes. Oh, excuse me. Do these lots of fancy words? Are their sentences long or short? Is the story funny, sad, or exciting? These clues help you figure out the author's style. Alright, exercise next. Yeah, let's go. Alright, Granny, the hero. I'll bet you've heard my story before. I'm the sweet old granny from Red Riding Hood. You know, the one who was gobbled up by a wicked wolf and rescued by a woodsman. I bet you think you know everything there is to know about this old tale. But you are so wrong. Let's start with that sly old wolf. He thought he could fool a little old lady like me. I'm sure he thought he'd have an easy meal. I'm just a gentle old woman. I'm polite to everyone I meet. That's why I invite him in it. I invited him in. He thought he'd fool me with his silly voice, but he hadn't. That wolf could never sound like my sweet little Red. I would recognize her soft, gentle voice anywhere. I didn't know what the wolf was planning when I invited him in. But then, I'm sure he didn't expect this old granny to be just as sly as he was. The moment he swallowed me whole, I was already planning my escape. When you get to be as old as I am, you look forward to the adventure. I knew if I put my mind to it, I'd be back out in no time. The next thing I knew, there was my granddaughter, Little Red. The wolf had swallowed her up too. Let's play a game, I said to Little Red. Let's see who could jump the highest. Dang, that's a big stomach if they're both right there. Little Red and I started jumping. Oh, did we jump? We jumped and jumped and jumped. What a curious sight it must have been to see the old wolf's belly bouncing up and down. He howled and howled. The louder he howled, the harder we jumped. He finally opened his mouth, and we popped, and out we popped. Then the wolf ran as quickly as he could, before he started jumping on top of him as well as inside him. I was a bit startled as I looked around and saw a man I didn't recognize. Little Red said he was a woodsman. He took one look at us and fell to the floor with a thump. I guess seeing an old granny and a young girl pop out of a wolf's mouth could be shocking. But then the woodsman jumped and declared himself a hero. He said he had rescued us. What nerve! He'd already run straight into town and told several people before I could stop him. I tried telling everyone the truth, but you know how it is. People just weren't sure they could believe an old granny could beat a wicked wolf. But you know who does believe it? That nasty old wolf. We never saw him again. Alright. Practice ratio. What two summaries are important events and belong in a summary of the story? Nope. Not relevant. He went straight into town. I bet you've heard my story before. Sly wolf when you get to be able to adventure. What two sentences are important events? Important events that belong in a summary of the story. Not important. Doesn't summarize. Doesn't summarize. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I do. Let's see who could jump the highest. Who says this? The granny. How does Granny solve a problem? She jumps up and down over and over again. She yells for someone to come help her. She waits for the granddaughter to get there. She jumps as high as she can at once. No, she jumps over and over again. Dang. Here we go. Below is a list of events that happen in the two stories. Some events happen in just one of the stories. Some happen in both. For each event, mark whether it just happens in Little Red Riding Hood, just in Granny the Hero, or if it happens in both stories. A grandmother, little girl jumped. Okay, just Granny the Hero. Wolf swallows the little girl. Okay, both stories. Little girl stops to pick flowers for her mother. Just Little Red Riding Hood. Hunter saves the little girl. Just Little Red Riding Hood. He doesn't save them. Yeah, small thought. Let's go. Let's go. Alright, cool. Alright, I knew I would kill it. Let's go. Context. Learn to figure out new words using context clues. We use the ideas method to understand new words. Inference, definition, example, antonym, and synonym. By looking at words around a new word, you can guess its meaning. Above your level and the author expects you to know words in the book. There wouldn't be that much context. When this happens, what if you don't get enough to figure out what the word means? I guess I'm using the dictionary first. Try to, like David showed in the video, figure out the word based on the context. If you know this term, a connotation is a word that gives you a certain feeling. Even if you can't really guess the word itself, based on the sentence, you could probably tell whether the word is a good or bad feeling kind of word. Afterwards, if you're still not sure, then you can always search it up in the dictionary. With time, soon you won't really even need the dictionary anymore. Example. Dumas's Count of the Monte Cristo. He was a man of 25 or 26 years of age, of unprepossessing countenance, obsequious to his superiors, insolent to his subordinates. So the passage above are all of the words that we need to figure out. Oh, this is nice. First, read the whole entire paragraph. So we conclude that people don't like. Meaning that this 25 or 26-year-old man would most likely have bad traits. Now let's try solving those words. So continence is kind of like an expression. So I would say that the word unprepossessing is a type of expression. Now, since that last part of the paragraph lets us know that none of the sailors like him, we would say that unprepossessing has a negative connotation, so this young sailor probably has a very unattractive expressive face. Obsequious. Well, they say that he's obsequious to his superiors, which means people of higher rank than him, like his boss or something. Well, how would you act to your boss? You wouldn't act arrogant to your boss, would you? You would likely be very polite to your boss, right? So we could guess that obsequious would most likely mean something along the lines of respectful or obedient. Now, the last word, insolent. So he's insolent to his subordinates. What do subordinates mean? Well, we have subtitles and subchapters. The pre-sub just means something. The prefix sub just means something smaller inside of a bigger thing. And so we could probably guess that subordinates would be a person of lower rank. We can guess that this is a person, because why would someone be insolent to an object? Sorry, haven't gotten to the insolent part yet. Well, not that we've identified subordinates as someone of a smaller rank, basically. How would someone that acts nice only to his boss and has a very unattractive, snide, expressive face act to people who are lower than him? You guessed it, he would be rude, arrogant, and obnoxious to them. So there we are. By the way, if you're wondering, here are the actual dictionary definitions to these words. Unprepossessing, not particularly attractive or appealing to the eye. Despite the unprepossessing appearance, he had an animal magnetism. Oh my god, obsequious. Obedient or attentive to an excessive or servile degree. They were served by obsequious waiters. Insolent. Showing a rude or arrogant lack of respect. She hated the insolent tone of his voice. Hope this helped. Upvote. That was really good. Affixes are parts of words that change the meaning of the word they're attached to. Un is a great example. When you're not happy, you're unhappy. Un means not. It's kind of affix we call a prefix. Okay. David Reinstrom. Alright, let's just do the exercise. I got this. Okay, is this the story again? Here you go. Practice question. Read these sentences from paragraph 2. Once she entered the woods, she saw a wolf. The wolf wished to eat Little Red Riding Hood for lunch, but she did not know that, so she was not afraid of him. The author uses the words "not afraid" to show the reader what Little Red Riding Hood wears when she first knows, thinks, feels when she first meets a wolf, acts. That's it. Feels. Yeah, that's what I thought. What does reopen? Open again. Do that. Okay, gotta read it again. What a tasty snack this girl gave me. What does the word tasty tell you about the wolf? He thinks people are good to eat. Yep. Was another word that could be used instead of sly in this sentence to keep this moving. Then the sly wolf dressed in her nightgown. Tricky. That's right. There we go. There we go. That's how we do it. I mean, this is second grade, so I'm like, let me check the reading. 3 units, 15 skills. Let me. Okay, so unit 1. Why didn't I complete this one? Did I do this? Which sentence from the story tells us where it takes place? When she entered the woods, she saw a wolf. No. Pick 2 details from the story that best support the message that you always listen to parents. Forgetting what she promised her mother. Okay. Got it. Knew it. Shows a wolf eating Granny. Well, how does a hunter know when he sees the wolf in Granny's bed? He knows. Oh, wait. Shit. First, wrong one. Damn. How does a hunter know when he sees the wolf in Granny's bed? Oh, what does the hunter know when he sees the Granny? There you go. Ah, shit. Got fucking one wrong. Bonus question. Choose whether each of the following is a character or a setting from the story. Alright, good. Got it. Cool. Alright. Practice. I can just skip to practice? Shit, I'll just do that. Tom Thumb. Cast of characters: Tom Thumb, a very small boy, no bigger than an adult's thumb. Oh shoot, he's tiny as hell. Randy, a robber. Jed, another robber. Scene 1. Evening, in a barn outside the mayor's house. Tom Thumb had just run away from a man that he was traveling with. Tom, talking to audience. Phew, what a day. Hey, friends, it was easy to escape that silly man because I'm so small, and all I had to do was jump into a mouse hole, and he couldn't find me anywhere. I may be tiny, but I could still be tricky. Sound of footsteps. Someone's coming. Let's hide. Tom hides. Enter two robbers, Jed and Randy. This is the house, Jed. The mayor's traveled a long distance and won't be back until tomorrow, so tonight is a perfect night to steal all of his money. But what about the cook and the maid? They're certain to hear us breaking those famous iron bars around his money box. Then we'll just have to do it very, very quietly, won't we? Tom, two lines. Robbers! I like to play tricks, but stealing isn't right. I feel another adventure coming on. Watch this. Tom, two robbers. Hello there. Who said that? Down here. How curious. What a tiny fellow. 4A-5. Please take me with you into the house. I would love to help you. You? Ha! You're very polite, but you're rather small to be a robber. You said the mayor's money is behind iron bars, and it'll be noisy if you break them. But I'm so small I could slip right between the bars without a sound. And why should we trust you? I may be tiny, but I'm a faithful fellow, and I love adventures. All right then, tiny one. Just remember, everyone has to speak very quietly inside the house. Think you could do that? Oh, certainly. Very well. Now, let's get robbing. Scene 2, inside the mayor's house. Now then, tiny one. I expect climbing that table will be easy for you. Then you just have to squeeze through the iron bars to get us the money. Ready? Ready. Remember, quiet as a mouse. Tom climbs up to the table, slips through the iron bars. To audience whispering, now watch this. To Robert's talking just loud. How much do you want? Should I just take all of it? Whispering, shh. You'll wake the cook and the maid. Just give us the money. What? Do you want me to take all of the several hundred coins out of this money box? Sound of a door banging upstairs and people shouting and running. They're coming, Randy. Randy whispering, you sneaky little rat boy. You tricked us. Let's get out of here, Jed. Robbers run away. Tom shouting afterwards. I may be tiny, but I can still be tricky. Good on Tom for that. Pick two details from scene 1 that help you understand Tom's character. I feel another adventure coming on. You said me. Someone's cutting inside. You just give me something. You said the money. It was easy to escape from this because I'm so small. Damn. There we go. Damn. What is the lesson you should... Oh, you know what? Let's go back. Damn, shit. I want to see why that was wrong. Hold on. What is the lesson you should learn from the story? Tiny people need to solve problems. Robbers do anything to steal the money they want. Even tiny people can solve big problems. It's best to stay quiet with people like you're sleeping. I think that's... Okay, robbers run away with taking money. Where does scene 2 take place? Inside the mayor's house. Read these lines and play. Robbers. I like to play tricks, but stealing isn't. He's unafraid of them. He's charmed by them. I'm proud of. Yep. Bonus question. Oh, so if you get one wrong, it gives you a bonus question. Cool. What happens at the end of the story that makes the robbers run away? The people in the house wake up. Yep. That's cool if you get one wrong. Elements of a poem. Ugh. Let's go. Once upon a time, a tiny girl flew from a flower sparkling with dew. She was kind, gentle, and lived without strife. Till a toad stole her as she slept in the night. The toad trapped the girl. She could not escape. How mean, how wicked, what a horrible fate. Help me, the girl cried. A fish heard her plea. He nibbled and nibbled to set the girl free. Soon it was winter. The girl met a mouse. Come stay with me in my warm winter house. She sang for the mouse and all of her guests, including the mole who liked the girl best. You will be my wife, he ordered one night. Oh no, gasped the girl, shivering in fright. The girl did not wish a life underground. She fled on a bird. I hope I'm not found. But when she landed, oh, what a surprise. A tiny young king was just the same size. Oh. He ruled the land of those small and fair, and so Thumbelina lived happily there. What sentence best explains how the ending solves the problem in the poem? The king's Thumbelina's problem solves smoking inside the land. Yep. Hope I'm not found. Anyway. Damn. Girl met a mouse. Be my wife. Yeah, there we go. The girl did not wish. She fled on a bird. What does the word fled have to answer? She didn't wish. She was in a hurry. She called for help. She fell down. What does the word fled help the reader understand? The main way to wish. I think in this one, called for help. The girl did not wish her life underground. She flew on a bird. She tried to escape. She called for help. There you go. Yeah, she tried to escape. Okay, same one. Drag and drop the story title so that they match the detail. Characters born in a flower, Thumbelina. Characters trapped by a toad, Thumbelina. Birdhouse, escape. Character plays to trick someone, try to steal money. People wake up. Yep. Okay. Easy. Okay, that was interesting. Unit 1. Oh, an article. This is a list of a few useful or interesting words you'll find in this unit. You probably know some of the words already, while others might be new to you. Take some time to get to know them all before you get started. Continue, creator. Continue to keep doing something. Min continues to think about what it would be like to live on the moon. Crater, a large round hole created by something hitting the surface of a planet or moon very hard. The moon is full of large craters that we can see from Earth. Decide. To make up your mind. When Katya was 6-year-old, she decided that she wanted to live on Mars. Disagree. To not agree with someone or something. To not think the same way. I know you think the moon is the most wonderful thing in the night sky, but I disagree. I think the stars are the most wonderful. Gravity, the force that pulls objects toward another, bigger object. The moon's gravity is less powerful than the Earth's gravity because the moon is smaller than the Earth. Misunderstand. To not understand, or to understand something incorrectly. Do not misunderstand me, said Maya. While the moon may look like cheese, it's really a big rock. Orbit. Travel around something. The moon orbits or travels around the Earth about once every 27 days. Remember, to be able to think of something again. My dad asked, do you remember when the moon looked orange last year? Rough, bumpy, harsh, rocky, uneven. When NASA planned for the landing on the moon, they had to think about the moon's rough surface. Surface, the outside top layer of something. The moon's surface has soft, gray dust. Tide, the rising and falling of the ocean's level. When Jax was at the beach, the tide was low, so he's able to see the sea stairs in the tide pools. Let's go. All about the moon. Do you ever look at up at the night sky and wonder about the moon. From Earth, it can look unreal. What is it made of? Why does it glow in the sky? Why does it seem to change shape? People have been wondering about the moon for thousands of years. Today, we know a lot about the moon. The moon is made up of rock. If you looked on the moon's surface, excuse me, you would see that the first layer is like thick dust. Your boot would sink into the dust a bit and leave a print. Because there's no wind on the moon, these prints will not disappear. Alright. The footsteps of the first person to walk on the moon are still there many years later. Under this first layer of dust is hard rock. The center part of the moon is called the core, and it is made up of iron. There it is, the moon landing. The moon has many round holes on its surface. These craters form when giant space rocks, called asteroids and meteorites, smash into the moon. Some of the craters on the moon have been there for thousands of years, and some are new. The moon also has mountains, areas known as seas. These seas are not like the seas we have on Earth, which are made of water. Instead, the moon's seas are made of lava that have hardened into rock. A very long time ago, when the moon was new, it had volcanoes. When they erupted, lava flowed over the moon's surface and hardened. This is how the moon's seas were formed. From Earth, the moon's seas look like dark, circular pools. Moon phases. It makes sense. Although many people think that the moon makes its own light, it doesn't. The moon's glow is actually caused by light reflected from the sun. As the moon orbits the Earth, it looks like it changes shape. Actually, the sun is lighting up different parts of the moon while the Earth creates shadows. These different shapes tell us where the moon is in its path around the Earth. Where the moon is in its path around the Earth. They are called phases. That's why the moon sometimes looks like a circle and sometimes looks like a sliver or crescent. What is paragraph 3 mostly about? Paragraph 3 is mostly about craters. Yeah, boy. Picture details the author uses to support the main idea that marks on the moon stay there over time. See that the first layer is thick dust because there are no prints. Yep. Complete the sentence by selecting the correct answer from the drop-down menu. The glow of the moon is caused by the sun. How does picture 2 help you understand paragraph 2? Let's see, picture 2 is a person walking on the moon, and picture 2 discusses the moon is made up of rock. If you walked on the moon's surface, you would see that the first layer is like it does. Okay, I guess it helps you understand what it actually looks like. It shows footprints on the moon. Yeah, there's a bunch of footprints here. Yes, sir. There we go. Lesson 3. Messages and morals. Yeah, it sucks that you guys can't hear what the audio is. I'll try to figure that out for the next stream. But what I can do is read what the about us morals are. Lessons about how to treat other people. Many stories have these lessons embedded in them. Let's learn how to dig them out. I think I got this one. Let's go. Late one night, Milo the mouse sat on his windowsill. He stared at the moon. Its surface was full of craters. That looks like cheese, said Milo, who couldn't see the moon very clearly. His stomach grumbled. He was awfully hungry. I'm going to the moon and get some cheese, he declared. Go to sleep, Milo, said his mother. So Milo went to sleep. Oh, dang, look at him, flying on a dove. As he slept, he dreamed. Milo dreamed of flying to the moon on the back of a bird. Up and up they soared until they landed on the moon. The moon was soft in parts, like cream cheese, and firm in parts, like cheddar, and even bouncy in parts, like mozzarella. And that part of the moon was Milo's favorite. He ate and ate all night. When Milo woke up the next morning, he realized he'd been chewing on his pillow, not cheese. But he remembered his dream. He decided to go find a bird. Milo left his house and ran to his friend, Tiny the squirrel. Where are you going? Tiny asked. The moon, Milo replied. The moon is made of cheese, and I'm hungry. Tiny laughed. The moon isn't made of cheese. It's rocky and rough. It only looks smooth from here. We'll see about that, Tiny. The next time you see me, I'll promise I'll have cheese, said Milo. Milo climbed the tallest hill in the forest and waved until a bird landed in front of him. Hello, said Milo happily. Would you take me to the moon, please? The bird, who was an owl, looked at the hill. Then she craned her head up high to look at the sky. I think that's further than I can fly, Milo, she said, but I do have a way to see the moon up close without flying very far at all. It's called a telescope. When Milo looked through the telescope, he got a really good look at the moon. Oh, said Milo, it really isn't made of cheese after all. Nope, said the owl. It's made of rocks. Well, where am I going to get some cheese? Milo cried as he realized his misunderstanding. The owl moved the telescope with her wing, and Milo continued to look. Oh my goodness, he said. A cheese store. The owl peeked through the telescope. It looks like they're having a sale on cheddar, she said. Read this sentence from paragraph 1. Its surface was full of craters. What does surface mean? The holes on the moon, rocks on the moon, ground. Yeah. What is the lesson of the story? Sometimes we think things that are not true, but our friends can help us. Yeah, you could say that one. Always believe in yourself, even if no one else does. Consider other people's feelings for your own. Sometimes we eat more than is good for us, but our friends can tell us to stop. That's definitely the first one. Yep, knew it. Definitely the first one. The owl and Tiny both think that the moon is made of cheese, the moon is rocky. Milo should go to the moon. Milo eats too much cheese. Oh, the owl and Tiny. Yep. Pick 2 details from the end of the story that best help you understand how Milo's problem is solved. It really isn't made of cheese after all. Oh my goodness, he said. A cheese store. I think that's further than I can fly, Milo. It looks like they're having a sale on cheddar, she said. Nope. So it's made of rocks. Yeah. Oh, these don't tell you why they're wrong. Playing vocabulary and knowledge. Using context clues. Learn to figure out new words using context clues. We use the ideas method. Oh, I think it did this already. Affixes. Oh, I did this. Did I just do this? Should I just speedrun this? Oh, I thought I did this. Okay. Read the sentence from paragraph 2. If you walked on the moon's surface, you would see the first layer is like thick dust. Layer. Fold. Person plays a fold, a thing. Things are on top of other things. A shoot of a new plant. What? Which meaning closely matches the word layer as it's used in the sentence. 3. Yep. Read the sentence from paragraph 4. These seas are not like the seas we have on Earth, which are made of water. Instead, the moon's seas are made of lava that has hardened into rock. Read the sentence, then select the correct word from the drop-down menu. The word harden means became hard. Your boot would sink into the dust and leave a bit. Would sink into the dust a bit and leave a print. What does the word sink mean? To drop in, to cover it, to get to the bottom, to drop in. Yep. Easy. Okay, character action. Drive stories forward and reveal their personalities. By observing how characters react to situations, we learn about their motives, values, and goals. Actions can show how characters change throughout a story. To understand characters better, look for evidence in the text and consider their thoughts and feelings. Let's talk about how poems work. Poetry is a special kind of writing. If ordinary writing is like talking, then poetry is like singing. Poets write lines where they end is called a line break. Groups of lines form stanzas. The voice telling the poem is the speaker. Poems can rhyme or not rhyme. Okay. The beautiful, mysterious moon. I thought there was a rabbit inside the moon, one that nibbled on lettuce and mushrooms, but Carlos says that those are just craters. That's the way the moon works, the beautiful, mysterious moon. I thought there was a giant sea that made the waves and pushed them onto the beach, but Carlos says those are just tides. That's the way the moon works, the beautiful, mysterious moon. I thought there was an old lady under the underground, with a giant magnet that held us in place when we walk around. But Carlos says that it's just gravity. That's where the moon works. The beautiful, mysterious moon. I don't know if I agree or disagree. That moon is responsible for tides and gravity. But Carlos read the science book, so we'll have to believe that the thing in the sky has an effect on you and me. Read these lines from the poem. I thought there was an old lady under the underground with a giant magnet that held us in place when we walk around. With underground. Yeah. What is the message of this poem? The speaker thinks that about the moon in a magical and mysterious way, while Carlos finds the science of the moon interesting. What are two things we can learn at the end of this poem? The speaker is not sure what to believe. Carlos is confused by tides. Carlos reads science books. Carlos understands what creatures are. The speaker wants to go to the moon. Well, he definitely reads science books. Oh, did you learn at the end of the poem? Okay, got it. Yeah. What do you learn about Carlos from this poem? He likes to share facts. He likes to imagine. He likes to tell stories. He likes to learn about rabbits. What the heck is rabbits? He likes to share facts. The speaker tells us that Carlos says things about tides, gravity, and craters, so we can understand that he likes to share facts. Yeah, exactly. Noise. Lesson 6. I think this will be my last lesson for this stream. Let's see. Using text features to locate information. Nonfiction texts contain useful information that useful features that organize information. You can learn to read these text features like a map to help you point towards the things you want to know. Okay, title. It's all about pets. Yep. Yep. Headers. Oh, headings. Yeah. Pets. Unusual pets. Taking care of your pet. Yep. Subheading. Yep. Yeah, this is like really second grade education. Side. Let me see if this scrolls with it. It doesn't. Yeah, it's a table of contents. I think I got it. Oh, you gotta watch the whole video? Alright, I think I got the exercise now. Okay, why are there tides? Summer at the beach. It's summer at the beach. You build the perfect sandcastle. Oh no, suddenly a wave knocks it down. The water is getting closer and closer, so you grab your towel and run. But why does this happen? Yeah, because the water bulges out. Yeah. Got low tide, high tide, high tide. Okay, makes sense, makes sense. The moon's gravitational pull. I could zoom in. That's still really blurry. They should update this. Tides. The tide, or ocean level, goes up and down every day. High tides and low tides are caused by the moon. The moon's gravity pulls things towards it. This pull makes the Earth's water bulge or push out. This happens on the side that is closest to the moon, and on the side farthest from the moon too. These bulges of water are high tides. As the Earth spins around, your part of the Earth passes through both of these bulges each day. When you're in one of the bulges, you get a high tide. When you're not in one of the bulges, you get a low tide. Oh, that's a cool visual. Dang, that boat's straight up on land. This cycle of 2 high tides and 2 low tides continues almost every day on most of the coastlines of the world. So high tide on the left here, low tide on the right. Read this part of the passage. High tides and low tides are caused by the moon. The moon's gravity pulls things towards it. This pull makes Earth's water bulge push out. What words in this sentence best help you understand the meaning of the word gravity? High tides and low tides makes the Earth's water pulls things towards it or push out. Yep, there we go. Okay, this is that Carlos poem. The speaker of the poem thinks that there's a giant in the sea that makes the water come up on the beach. But the passage, why are there tides? Explain that the tides caused by. But the passage, why are there tides? Moon's gravity. Yeah. The section tides and the diagram both help us understand that tides are caused by the moon's gravity. Okay. Okay, let's see. Picture 1, picture 2. The list below shows 3 pieces of information that the passage's pictures help you understand about tides. Mark whether each piece of information in best Mark whether each piece of information in best shown in picture is best shown in picture 1 or picture 2. How the moon's gravity pulls ocean levels higher. So picture 1. I think maybe picture 1. Same place, picture 2. What the pulls Earth. Picture 2. Picture 1. Yep, got it. Next question. Pick 2 details from the text that are shown in picture 1. The moon's gravity pulls things towards it. High tides and low tides are caused by the moon. You build a perfect sandcastle. The water is getting closer and closer, so you grab your towel and run. This cycle of 2 high tides and 2 low tides continues almost every day on most coastlines of the world. Well, you don't see the coastline. Has nothing to do with sandcastles and has nothing to do with the Talon Run. Yep, there we go. That's what it's all about. Nice. Unit 3. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here and just go back. Alright, so that was Units 1 and 2 for Khan Academy's second grade. Um, Pretty easy. I know for some reason I got like 2 or 3 wrong, but I mean, I got the majority of them right. So, yeah, that was really interesting. I think I can understand what some people may, well, not what some people may, but what everybody should go through in order to get to, I guess, a second grade reading level. So I get how complex the vocabulary is, and I really like this unit actually because it breaks things down really easily, gives you second chances, and it tells you most of the time why the answers are wrong. So yeah, I haven't used Khan Academy in about a year, but I'm glad that I used it again because yeah, this is a great resource. Again, I think I put this in the description as well, but I'm not affiliated with Khan Academy at all. But I do appreciate what Khan Academy offers because it's honestly a great resource. I think maybe my next stream, I'll either do third grade or I gotta finish this third unit actually. But yeah, I'm curious to see what third grade has to offer. I remember when I was in third grade, I was having a lot of trouble like just reading and like completing assignments. So yeah, let's see. I mean, this was a breeze, so I'm sure third grade's just gonna be slightly harder. But yeah, now I have an idea of like if I were to teach like one of my friends how to improve their reading, I could definitely point them towards this because this has a lot of great examples. And like I said, it breaks it down really easily. It tells you why answers are wrong, gives you second chances, really preps you. And even though the videos did not have the audio playing, I think the videos explained really beautifully what the main topic of the lesson was. So, yeah, that's it for today. Yeah. Time to